Let me know if the noise on my end gets too much, and I will
Oh no,
move
it's
in.
fine. No, it's nice.
Board. Board games, board games, that's what we're talking about. Board games, board games, we're not gonna shout. Board games, I'm starting off the morning. Board games with a little bit of singing. And beside me, I have Calvin Wong Tze Loon. And I'm going to finish this song soon. And Calvin and I met in Essen 2018. Although I knew Calvin and Calvin knew me because of online stuff. Board games, we're not gonna shout. Board games, that's what we're talking about.
Hey,
Oh,
oh, that was lovely. It's like those shows we used to watch when we were children, right? Like they always start with a big song. Yeah, that was so nice. I should stipulate every show I'm on has to start with a song. I should do
and
that
does
from
it always have to, include references to you?
No. Okay, that's fine. I'm not that egotistical. They can just do their own theme song or whatever, but we've got to start off by singing. Okay, that's it. It's going in my contract. Hi Bez.
Hi, Calvin. It's lovely to have you. And I am Bez. This is approximately breakfast time in the UK. I know it's like gone dinner time. It's what, 9 p.m. over there?
Mhm.
But we are going to be blethering about board games. And we've got Will Cook in the comments. Hello. It's lovely to see you again. And we're going to be talking all about Calvin Wong Tze Loon and if about what they've done in the process of, Calvin's been a writer, a film bit parts actor. I don't want like more than,
Oh no
I
no,
mean,
bit part, definitely bit part. Yes.
yeah. And so we're going to get into all of that, and you can see it's all in the comments that's kind of coming along with a couple of links. If you're enjoying this, then as always, please do comment. Let us know you're there. And oh wow, yeah, of course there is the BGG Con online as well as where BGG mixed together with the Dice Tower. So massively appreciates everyone and Alan out, and it's lovely to have you as always. If
Good
you
morning.
think that this is fun, please do share it. Depending on your platform, give me a thumb, a like, or a follow, and check out all the links. But first of all, as always, we've got to talk about brilliant things. Brilliant things. Here's a little thing that is brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes.
So, do you have a brilliant thing in mind for us, Calvin?
This morning, my cat, who likes to sleep behind the curtain. So our desks are shoved up against the window, and we keep the curtain there closed all the time because it overlooks a park, and we don't want people to be able to look into our room. So we do have the option to pull the curtains back and get some sunlight, but mostly we keep them closed. And because we keep them closed, my beloved child, Kazrak One Eye, loves to crawl behind the curtains and sleep there so she can get all the lovely sunlight. And this morning, after I woke up and was on the computer, and I saw her stretching, so from behind the curtain, you get one paw, like that.
Ooh.
And then she pulled it back behind the curtain. And that was adorable and amazing. And that was the brilliant thing that happened to me. It was so great. I love my cat.
That does sound.
If you would like to see my cat, she has an Instagram. She is at kazrak.one.i. That's KHAZRAK.ONE.EYE. She also has a hashtag Kazrak1i on Twitter. So yeah, you can go and look at her cat pictures and cat videos.
And yeah, I think that's what I'm taking from this is, the animal companions in our lives, just really remember to value them. And it's also whatever thing people you've got around you. Enjoy their little gestures, whether it's an animal companion or a human companion. Take
Yeah,
notice and enjoy those little movements
yeah.
because
I
it's
always try my best to do exactly what you said, Bess, which is to try and find the small joys in the small things.
hmm. And talking about, a bit more about the daily highlights. Um, my daily highlights yesterday. It wasn't. It was Friday, which means that I'm continuing to do my daily Friday daytime playtest, which we used to do in person before this whole lockdown, and now we're doing online. I played, well, I won't get into what I played because that's coming up in a moment, but played some games, had some discussions, had a lovely video chat with someone that I met on a dating website, and we kind
Oh,
of got quite a bit in common, which is lovely. So kind of human connections are start continuing to grow, and possibly my top daily highlight. Well, it's got to be a toss up between two. Firstly, sitting beside my housemate, watching Shira together whilst I was just doodling on the backs of envelopes, doing a little bit of work, but it's really
mm,
mindless, just writing my addresses and then doodling a little cat and a dog. Because
mm.
since I had Elaine from No Pun Included, I've been like quite enjoying drawing the dichotomy between this eager dog kind of with its tail wagging and then maybe I'll show some of those tomorrow.
Oh, yes, please do.
And
Will Cook says he's finished a special music video. Yes, show us, show us.
Will Cook is not a he, just for the record.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But no, Luza is awesome, and yeah, well done, Will Cook. And yeah, the other thing that I did that I'm quite proud of is I went to the supermarket, I and just at sunset when it was lovely. And I think this is ultimately what it's all about. When you make something and then you put it out into the world to hear other people complimenting it. You must have that experience as well all the time, Calvin.
Yeah, yeah. Could stand to have more of it, to be honest, because it's a great feeling. But I know exactly the feeling that that Will is having because I try hard to do good work, and then when people say, "Calvin, that was good work," I'm like, "Yes, I did it, I did it," and it feels great. And it is always nice to have your work appreciated, which is why one of the things I always try and do with my online presence is I always try and share other people's work because
Mm.
I know that it's so hard to get noticed sometimes, and it's frustrating when you're an artist and you spend tens or hundreds of hours on something, and it just sort of comes out and goes right just because of bad luck, like nobody noticed it or the algorithm showed it at the wrong time, or there was a massive news event that happened at around the same time that you shared your work, and then you feel bad about having to reshare it, or you do reshare it and it still doesn't get any traction, and you start to think, oh no, what's wrong with me? So I always try and share people's cool stuff whenever I see it. I always try and talk about other people's stuff rather than mine, and I always feel happy um, when I retweet something and I see lots of people latching onto my retweet, and I'm like, yes, mission accomplished.
Oh yeah, I see your little link, Will Cook. I'll look forward to watching that after the show. And sorry, I'm still getting used to Twitch, so I didn't respond to your previous message. But sorry about your name that I got wrong. But what were some of your daily highlights other than witnessing your cat majestically stretching out its paw behind the curtain?
Uh, I played some Overwatch with my girlfriend. That was really nice. Um, it's always nice to play with her, especially because we're trying to. I think I said this to you before the stream started, that we're trying to spend more time together, trying to make use of the lockdown to do more stuff together, and yeah, so that was really nice. Got to play some video games. Yeah, I love playing co-op video
Wait,
games. It's actually one of my favorite things to do.
unless you've got anything else to share in terms of highlights, that brings
But
us to games,
games,
games, games, games. What have we been playing? What are their names? Games. What have you been playing? So apart from Overwatch, tell us about, I guess, like Tell us about all the games you've been playing, Calvin.
Okay, so I've managed to play 2 board games recently. Have I played Overcooked? Yes, I have. It's very good. Someone else in the comments, sorry. Yeah, so I played 2 board games recently. The first one was this game that's currently on Kickstarter. I got to play it on Tabletopia. It's called Intrepid. And I really like it. The reason I really like it. Okay, so Intrepid is based on the International Space Station. So it's all set on the International Space Station. So it's so what you do is that the space station is undergoing a disaster. So there's like a meteor shower, or there's like a toxic leak or something like that. It doesn't really matter. The point is that there's every round you've got to produce enough oxygen, food, power, and climate to keep everybody alive. And the more stuff you produce, the more resources you get. So to build new modules that are maybe produced more efficiently, or to maybe repair modules that have been hit by meteors or whatever. I love that theme. I'm a big fan of science. Science fiction too, obviously, but real science. And I'm always been enamored by space, and I think the space station is one of the coolest things to ever exist. Yeah, and so the game is basically, it's a dice placement board game. So you roll your dice, and then you put your dice on the little spaces that you have. So if you're playing, for example, Germany or Brazil or Malaysia, so you put your dice in the Malaysian module, and the Malaysian module might say, produce a bunch of food, and also roll a new dice. So the order in which you do things is important, and the value of the dice is also important, because sometimes it says produce the number of food on this dice +1. Right? So if you put a 1 in there, you only produce 2 food. Whereas you put a 6, you might produce 7 food. So it's you have to carefully strategize where your dice go and in what order to do things. It's cooperative. It's asymmetrical. Everyone is playing a different astronaut. So you can be, in the base game, I think you can be the US, Brazil, Japan, and Britain. And Britain, by the way, is represented by an Indian lady with a bindi, which I really loved. The art in this game is very diverse. There's no white dudes, I think. Yeah, there's no white dudes. They're on the Kickstarter said they were going to add one for Russia. When Russia gets added to the game as a stretch goal. The game is Intrepid. It's on Kickstarter right now. So I played that. That was really fun. On Tabletopia, I backed the game instantly the moment it released on Kickstarter. I've never done that before. I went and checked. I went and looked at all my previous backings, and all of those were something like, I'll wait till the last 48 hours and decide. But Intrepid is so good, I just went ahead and backed it straight away. Fans of engine building and dice placement and asymmetrical co-ops. Did I mention that simultaneous play, so you never have to wait for anything? So everyone's taking their turn at the same time. Yeah, that's the one. Look at it. Look how gorgeous it is. Look at it. It's good.
Have you actually gotten a chance to play a prototype of this? Or?
Yeah, I played it on Tabletopia. It had
and so it's, how close do you think Tabletopia is to a real life experience? I mean, presumably it's very different, but you can still make allowances for that and sorts of make an assumption about how the real life experience is going to be.
Well, I mean, it's all of these online game services so far, what they do is they sort of mimic a physical space. So you have to select all the dice and then roll them, and then you have to click and drag the dice into the spaces. So it's not quite like an app, and an app you just tap and it all happens automatically, whereas stuff like Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator, for better or worse, you have to sort of go through the motions. And the person I was playing it with, we played for 2 hours and only figured out how to roll multiple dice at the end. We had been rolling our dice individually, and just So I played that. It was very, very good. I'm actually going to be playing it again later tonight. I'm going to be showing a friend from Ireland how to play it, so he can decide whether he wants to back it as well.
That does sound awesome, and I know that's. Oops. Well, I think I messed up the.
Oh, it's fine. It looks fine to me.
No, just I was wanting to share the other screen. So you are a big advocate of Netrunner. If I
Mm-hmm.
go over here, this is. Have you been playing any of that recently? And you're a big proponent of the diversity that they show in this art, and yeah, just the cool as bacon, stuff going on.
Yeah, I've managed to play some Netrunner with my girlfriend, actually. Trying to get her back into the game because she hasn't played for a long time. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do. There's an online service called jinteki.net. That's JINTEKI.net, where you can play Netrunner online for free. And been using that as well to play with some friends from around the world, one in the UK, one in Canada, one in the Netherlands. I couldn't remember the name of the country. I wanted to call it Dutchlands for a second. Uh, yeah, there it is, jinteki.net. Thanks, Bez. So that's a website where you can play the game. If you click on cards there, you can show people kind of what cards exist, I guess. And yeah, but I've been playing that. It's still very good. The fan community has been working to push along the game, and it's been great.
Yeah,
I think personally that Netrunner has got, I think, such a great lifespan. It's such a long amount of, like a long tail life, because it's just so unique. It's so different from any other card game that's ever been made. And I just think that there's just something about its mechanisms and the way that it's always so dedicated to pushing to decenter the normal expectations of cyberpunk. Because when you think of, oh, it's a cyberpunk card game, you automatically assume that it's set in Neo Tokyo or New York or San Francisco or one of those standard cities. But it's not. It's set in Ecuador. And all of the places that it's visited have always been very different. It's always been very so for example, some of the expansions have been set in Africa, and so the expansions have been set in India. Some of the expansions have been set in on Mars. Well, Mars is not exactly a hotbed of human diversity at present, but they haven't had an expansion that's gone to Japan, or they haven't had an expansion that's gone to Tokyo or any of the standard cyberpunk tropes. And one of the things that are always that Netrunner, one of the things that Netrunner really pushes for is that it's always about making sure that its characters are well represented in terms of.
Oh, I.
Hmm?
Oh.
So, but I'll just keep talking. Yeah. So one of the things that Netrunner is very good about doing is pushing for characters who are not white, who are not male. I think it took the game 5 years to release a white guy to play, like a playable white male character. So yeah, Netrunner is fantastic, and I really wish more games would follow his example in sort of decentering the white Western gamer experience. We appear to have Bez with some technical difficulties, so I'm just going to do a little dance. Do a little dance. And do a little
Sorry about that.
Dance is great. Oh, welcome back. Yes, I was doing a dance for everyone while you were experiencing some technical issues. So I hope that.
Thank you very much. So that is the games that we've been playing. Is there anything else before we introduce? So this is CALVIN WONG TZE LOON for the benefits of Will Cook. And yeah, any other games that you want to get into, CALVIN?
Yeah, just one, which is Unmatched. I was playing the new Unmatched set online. I don't know if you've heard of Unmatched. It's a tactical board game that came out last year by Restoration Games. It was my game of the year for 2019, and currently it might even be my game of the year for 2020. It's just really, really, really good. So one of the reasons I like it so much is because the system is so simple. Like I can set it up in 20 seconds. I can teach you how to play it in 2 minutes, and then you can just play it very quickly because the matches go fast, maybe 10 to 20 minutes. And I've played it like 20 times, and I'm not even close to getting tired of it. So the conceit of the game, it's called Battle of Legends. As you can see on the screen there, so you have King Arthur versus Medusa versus Alice in Wonderland versus Bigfoot versus Robin Hood versus the raptors from Jurassic Park versus T-Rex from Jurassic Park. So it's one of those like mad, when you were a kid, like who would win kind of things. It's that, but as a board game. And the new set that's just come out is called Cobble and Fog. It's set in the foggy streets of Victorian England. So it's got the Invisible Man, it's got Sherlock and Watson. Yeah. And it's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. If you look at, there you go, the Alice in Wonderland. Look at that. Look at how good that is.
I love that psychedelic art. I mean, those colors are just... I love this stuff like Dinosaur Island, I think, really paved the way with Kwanchai Moria.
Yes.
Just bringing in all these neon colors and still making a serious game. But
Yeah, Dinosaur Island's a great example of that. It just looks phenomenal. Yeah, look at these. These are the Medusa cards right there, if you can just scroll back really quick. Next pun. Have you really never seen Unmatched? Oh my god, Elaine, you must play this game. It's so up your alley. It's not even funny. It's really, really, really pretty. Apparently, okay, to be fair, apparently there have been some issues that I heard some of my friends on Twitter saying that they were having issues getting copies in the UK. So, okay, fair enough. If it's not really been widely available in the UK, that's fine. But it just, it's so good. It's such a great game. And one of my favorite things about it is that it makes all of the characters feel like the characters that you're playing. So if you're playing Alice, you're changing size all the time, and you have the Jabberwock by your side. And if you're playing Robin Hood, you're always like, staying hidden in Sherwood Forest, and you have your merry men to fight for you. And you yourself are always staying back and trying to charge up really powerful long-range shots. And does it have a solo mode by any chance? No. It is strictly a 2 or 4 player game, I think. I guess you could solo it, but I haven't looked into it. That's King Arthur that was on the screen right there. That's Medusa.
And Bruce...
They have an official Bruce Lee expansion. Yes, you can have Bruce Lee versus Alice in Wonderland if you want.
That is ridiculous. I mean, Alice in Wonderland with a big cleaver type thing. I mean, this reminds me of actually... Yeah, I think there's been some really nice advancements in board game design, like visual design, if you know what I mean, and art design.
Yeah, aesthetics.
Like, no
the whole
longer
aesthetics,
going to be about just representation. Like photorealism is something, not quite photorealism, but there's a certain aesthetic that Magic the Gathering does so well. But then I look at something, I don't know, have you seen the I'm slightly biased because I'm friends with the designer and publishers, but Lux Eterna, do you know this game?
No. You could just pull it up on the screen. Yeah. But while you're searching it up, one of the things that I really enjoy about Unmatched is Unmatched. Like I said, sets up really quickly, teaches really easily, plays really fast, and the expansions don't add any rules complexity at all. You just do what it says on the card, and that's it. And one of the other things that I really like is that the expansions are all standalone. So if you buy one set of Unmatched, you can just play that set. So if you're only interested in, for example, the Jurassic Park set, they have 2 Jurassic Park sets. You can buy the one that's InGen versus the Raptors, or you can buy one that's Dr. Settler versus the T-Rex, and that works just by itself. You don't need to buy any other set, and it's just an unmatched experience out of the box. But you can force, if you do have more than one set, then you can combine them. So like I said, you can have Alice in Wonderland versus the T-Rex. You can have the Invisible Man versus Bruce Lee, So you can have all that kind of really gorgeous. Oh, that's Eric's photo. Such a recognizable photography style Eric has.
Yeah, I was about to say Culcio. I didn't realize that Culcio was Eric Yurko.
Oh, I didn't know either.
But yeah, you've got the kind of Board Game Geek usernames up there. And yeah, looking at Lux Eterna, this is by Tony
Oh, I
Boydell,
like this. I like this
which
style
is
a lot.
again just something that's okay, making real use of limited colors. So
Mm.
each type of card has its own color palette, and
Mm.
yes, we've got the visual indicators of all the power cards are about getting together with power. And I think there might be some sorts of mistake there. I'm not sure what's happened, why there's a life with just the same color, but yeah, you just see it's a beautiful artwork by
I really like this.
Alex Lee, is the artist there. But I think this is almost like the next step to say, yeah, in the same way that we don't have to have all board games be strategic board games, we can have crazy things by Wolfgang Warsch, where it's just about waiting to see how long until you play a card, and that is the entire game.
Mm.
Um, the mind, for anyone who doesn't realize
Yes.
that's what I'm
I love
talking
the
about.
mind. One of my favorite games.
But you can, and wavelength. I mean, everything by Wolfgang Warsch, even like Quacks of Quedlinburg, it's just got really nice sets of rules. But games can be about so much more, and we can have edible games. We're now reaching out to stuff by Jen Sandercock, and I believe the people in the UK are called Honey Badger Games. They make edible dice and things, and that's more of a UK thing. But in the same way, we're reaching out to say that the aesthetics can be so much more.
Let he who did not put dice in their mouth as a child cast the first stone.
So,
Yeah, no, I love it. I love the experimentation, like you said, not just in mechanics, but also in the aesthetics. We're moving sort of beyond the need to sort of do what other media have already done, right? And we're doing like letting our artists really just go all out. Like if you pitched a game like Dinosaur Island, like you said, you would envision a much more serious art style. But no, it's all like neon pink and 80s fluorescence. It looks really, really gorgeous.
another
Fun.
photo by Eric Hiroko.
Sorry, what?
I was just saying this is another photo by Eric Hiroko here.
Yeah,
Showing
Eric
off.
is such a hardworking, talented, great photographer. He does such great stuff.
So, moving
Yeah, let's move
on to the quick, questionable question. Quick, questionable questions. This bit doesn't have a song. Quick, questionable questions. I'm making it up as I go along. Quick, questionable questions.
I was just going to say, it has a song now. It doesn't matter whether it had a song before, it has a song now. I realized I forgot to say hi to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so lovely to be here.
Yeah. Alan Outson says it's always had a song. I don't remember it having a song. Maybe
It's got a new song.
Okay, anyway. So, Calvin, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, what am I ready for? Yeah, just go.
Did you have breakfast?
Yes.
Today?
Yes, I did.
You always have breakfast?
No. Sometimes I don't. But today I did. It was a banana.
Okay. Have you had dinner?
You just saw me eat it. I had okay. So it's called ayam masak merah, which is red cooked chicken in Malay, which is basically, it's a sort of a curry, but it's mostly tomato based. So that's why it's red. It's cooked red. So I didn't make it. I just had a packet. I just poured it in the pan, threw some chicken in, browned it, threw it over some rice, and you saw me eating it in the pre-show. Yeah. So I had red cooked chicken. Very good.
Sounds
One of my
awesome.
favorites.
Iced coffee or hot tea?
I don't drink tea, so iced coffee, yeah.
Okay. What is the best thing to eat or drink whilst playing games?
The first thing that came to my mind was hummus, because you can have you can have with like little crudités. You can make little crudités with like carrots or cucumbers or whatever you like, and then you can eat it with chopsticks. You just grab a carrot stick with a chopstick, dip it in the hummus. It's very game friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're using tools like chopsticks or forks, then much better than using your hands. Sometimes I even, true story, whilst I'm playing a board game, I might eat the pizza with knife and fork. Why not?
I understand. Yeah.
Who is the last person you spoke to in person?
My girlfriend, Dee, was lovely and amazing, and I love her a lot. Don't tell her I said that; she'll get very cross.
Do you live together?
Yes, we do.
Do you live with anyone else?
Yes, we have two housemates. They're lovely as well. The two housemates have two dogs. The dogs are pretty lovely as well. So we get to have all of the fun parts of having a dog without having to deal with all of the non-fun parts of having a dog.
And one cat.
And one cat, yes.
So 4 humans, 2 dogs, 1 cat.
And any number of beetles, because we always find beetles somewhere in the house. Kazrak chases them, and we have to evict them nicely. Sometimes we find those little brown jumping spiders. I don't know if you have those in the UK.
No.
They're very tiny. They're mottled brown. They jump. That's why they're called jumping spiders. So I always try and get like a Tupperware. Just go. Okay, now you're going outside. I love you. You're very cute. But I can see that you've been spinning webs on my stuff, and that's not on. So out you go. Also, there's no food in here. Why are you here? There's no food. So I take them outside. The beetles too.
Yeah.
We take them outside. So Kazrak doesn't, because Kazrak bats them. She doesn't kill them, but she like plays around with them because she's a cat. So to prevent them from further harm, we slowly evict them.
Maybe after this you could type up the Kazarak's Instagram so I can share it and...
Oh, I just put it in the chat right now. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Now, we talked about a lot of games, but which was the last game you played? Was it Overwatch?
Yeah, most recently, just a few hours ago with my girlfriend. Yeah.
Books or podcasts?
It's neither at the moment, but right now, if I were to grab one, it would be books. I've been reading a lot of romance novels, which my girlfriend has introduced to me. There's romance novels, in case people didn't know, in the current day and age, 2020, are very progressive, very forward-thinking, very diverse. If you read the right authors, anyway. So, like for example, my favorite author right now is a lady named Alyssa Cole, and Alyssa Cole is a black author, and she writes about my favorite series of hers is called Reluctant Royals. So it's about a bunch of people who fall in love with dukes or princes or what kings or whatever, right? And it always features black ladies, and it's a really good series. It's called Reluctant Royals by Alyssa Cole. I used to listen to a lot of podcasts back when I commuted more. So when I was just driving or on the train, I would just have my earphones in and listen to podcasts. But I have not been caught up on podcasts recently. Even the show I'm on, I haven't listened to an episode in a few years. So yeah, it's just something I can't really do anymore, I think.
Oh, that's... I mean, do you not have... Can I ask, what is a typical day like for you? I mean, it's... in going into as much or as little detail as you would like, what's a typical day like?
Okay, sure. Okay, so we're talking about a lockdown day now, right?
Yeah.
So a lockdown day, I'm lucky if I'm up before 11. And then what I'll do is I'll get on my phone and check my email to have anything important. I check Twitter, see if anyone said anything to me. I play a game on my phone called AFK Arena. It's one of those games where...
Oh, the clicker ones.
Yeah, so it's one of those games where, you just have heroes and they fight and they do stuff. I've been playing it for about a year. It's just one of those games where you play it for 10 minutes a day and you're done, and you just leave it until the next day, So I play my daily 10 minutes of AFK Arena, and then depending on if I have any work to do, like this morning I had to answer an email from the top secret, mega exciting board games project. So I answered that email. Yeah. But one of the things they did say in the email is that I might be able to talk about the super mega top secret exciting board games project soon, because they're going public with it. hopefully they said the end of the month, which is in a few days. So hopefully on Monday or Tuesday I'll be able to tell everyone about the mega super secret board games project that I've been working on. I'm so excited. Okay, so
something that you really wanted to do.
Yes. I said this to you before the stream started, but if God came down to me and said, Calvin, you can do anything you want, what would you like to do? And I would say, I would like to do this thing for this company in the world of board games. And suddenly the company emailed me out of the blue and said, hey, Calvin, would you like to do this for us? And I was like,
wow,
doing my best to scream. But back to what you're saying about the daily routine, right? And then so after I check my emails, do some work. So depending on the day, I might be writing the whole day, or I might just be doing like 15 minutes of emails and then I'm done. Then I'll play some games, or I'll work on my other projects. It's like sometimes I'll jot down an idea for a review, or I'll go and watch a video of a game that I meant to check out to try and learn the rules, kind of thing. I'm always thinking of talking about watching or consuming. Basically, my whole life is like games and stories, basically, which sounds great, but it's also a little exhausting because sometimes I don't know how to switch off. Elaine, very excited for the secret project reveal. So am I. I have been sitting on this secret for at least 2 or 3 months now, and it's killing me.
Now you know how Mark Rosewatcher always talks about his head designer of Magic, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm working like 2 years in this future, and this project that I worked on is possibly going to be the best one yet." But at least you don't have to wait 2 years.
Yeah, I think this one. Hopefully they'll announce what it. Okay, so there's 2 parts, right? Okay, how do I talk about this? Being oblique, but also okay. So the thing that I'm working on is in conjunction with a sort of an online thing that they're planning, that this company is planning, right? So the online thing is to do with one of their games. I guarantee you've heard of this company. I guarantee you've heard of this game. Like that's the level of people.
I guarantee my housemates heard of it.
Everyone. Like if you're in board games, you'll have heard of this company and you'll have heard of this game. Definitely. I mean, if you're just sort of the person who like maybe owns 2 or 3 board games and doesn't really go on Twitter or Board Game Geek, then yeah, all right, maybe you'll not have heard of it. But anyone who's in the hobby, who's an enthusiast, who's part of Twitter, part of Board Game Geek, definitely heard of this game, definitely heard of this company. So, Will, you think you know? Tell me what it is and I'll tell you if you're wrong. So,
really? Wow. I didn't know we could do that. Am I allowed to guess?
You can guess, yeah, but one guess. You get one guess.
Oh.
But later, let me finish the story first. So,
okay, sure.
So they're going to do an online thing, and what I'm doing is part of that online thing. But also as part of that online thing, it's going to lead into further stuff with that company, right? And so hopefully, fingers crossed, the further stuff does also happen. Fingers crossed. Give us a clue. I already gave you a clue. Everyone in the board game hobby's heard of it. No, it doesn't start with C. No more guesses for Will.
Does the board game company starts with an F?
Maybe.
But
that was your one, so I'm not answering anything else.
That was my guess. Yeah. Okay.
That's your guess. Okay.
Well, Cook says they weren't guessing the company; they were guessing.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm working on doesn't start with C either. So, not the neither the company. So I technically give you 2 guesses. The clue was you've definitely heard of it. That was the clue. Everyone who's in board games has heard of this company. Everyone who's in board games has heard of this game. You're all cruel. Leave poor Calvin alone. No, this is fun. Okay. Yeah. So. Then towards the evening, maybe Dee and I will do something together, because usually when after she gets up, she's like playing Animal Crossing with her friends. She plays a lot of Animal Crossing, and we might do stuff together. I've been doing a lot of cooking. If you've been following me on Twitter, I've been posting other recipes that I made. I recently learned how to make bechamel sauce. Is wasn't very good bechamel sauce, but I did make it and it was edible, you know. So yeah, I've been trying to do a lot of cooking. Yes, cocaine. Yes, that is exactly what I've been doing, Will. Cocaine. Been doing so much cocaine. Oh my god, just bloodshot all the time. I don't actually know what happens when you take cocaine.
So you normally cook your own lunch or dinner?
I have been cooking even before the lockdown, but the lockdown has encouraged me to cook a lot more. I've actually managed to save a lot of money this lockdown just because we don't go out, we don't eat out, and we just do a lot of cooking at home. And I'll still buy snacks. Like this is my favorite cereal.
Oh, Cocoa Pops, oh man. Wait, it's Cocoa Chex?
Yeah, I know. It's
They're
different.
called Cocoa Chex in Malaysia. What? Wait, it's not.
No, it's not.
The same. Whoa, wow! Oh my God, it's like Shreddies, but it's Cocoa Pops. It's like
yes, exactly. They have Cocoa Pops too, but I prefer this.
Do you also have Shreddies?
No, we don't. But I know what they are.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And secret about Will Cook for board games, that username is actually true.
Will Cook. What's your favorite thing to cook? Everyone in the comments, what's your favorite thing to cook?
And at what point do you get together with your cat?
She's just around all the time. Around about 6 p.m., which is in 20 minutes. She'll want tuna, so she'll probably start meowing, wake up and meow and ask for the tuna. Yeah, this is Kazrak. Everyone out here, she's very, very cute. Tex-Mex or Indian or soups. Yeah, isn't she adorable?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, me doing Kitty Cataclysm, it's basically just been a sneaky way to get more people to send me pictures of their cats.
Because feel free to use Kazrak images.
I mean,
I'm sure Dee will be delighted to.
If I actually went to look for pictures of cats, I'm sure I could find many pictures of cats. But it's just nice, kind of, when I do something and then people are like, "Oh yeah, please draw this," and then they pay me money, and it's like, "Oh, there's this cute wee cat."
Someone in the comments says, "Finally, the good content." I'm like, "Wow, thanks."
Oh. So, going back to the quick questionable questions, and I'm going to keep Kazarak in the background. So, board gaming questions. Do you have a favorite color to play?
Blue, which is a problem because Dee always plays blue as well. So, but I always let her have the blue. So every so often I'll reach onto the board and move her pieces, and she's like, "Damn it, how's mine?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." It's
do you alternate or do you?
No, she just gets it all the time.
Oh, there's Dee.
Yeah, there's Dee. Love her. Oh, look at them. So, hi, Robin. What was I going to say? My favorite color is actually seafoam. That kind of teal, turquoisey green, that ocean spray kind of green. But unfortunately, to my knowledge, there's not yet been a game that produced its bits in seafoam. So, unfortunately, yes, we should.
You should write a story for the game in which, we've still not gotten into the main bits, and it's, we've just basically been blethering for, I guess it's the name of the show. So,
45 minutes.
Cube, what is the last physical game that you played?
Adventure Mart? I'm not just saying that because Robin's in the chat and Robin worked on Adventure Mart. It's a real answer. I'm pretty sure the last game we played was Adventure Mart. Adventure Mart is very cute. It's a game about running a convenience mart, like a 7-Eleven, or what is the UK equivalent of that? Like a Boots.
24-hour shop.
Yeah, one of those. But you run it for fantasy adventurers. So you sell potions, and you sell swords, and you sell, magic charms and little pet slimes that will accompany you on your adventures and stuff like that. You're not adventurers. You're the shop that sells to the adventurers. So the adventurers will come to your shop, and you'll say, "Hey, I'm going to sell this, like giant sword to you," and there's like tableau building, and there's a little bit of deck building. It's a little bit of auctions, and yeah, it's a really good game. Elaine, yeah, looking forward to playing Adventure Mart. Adventure Mart is up your street as well. Remember, Unmatched is super up your street as well. You and Efka should definitely play that. Very, very, very good games, both of them. That was the last physical game I played. Yes.
So do you prefer cards or cubes?
Cards, because I think the nice thing about cards is you can manipulate them in your hand. You can like do little shuffles, and you can like, I like shuffling. I'm a very good shuffler. I can't do the riffle thing. I never figured out how, but I'm very good at randomizing cards. And yeah, prefer cards.
Wooden meeple or plastic figurine?
Plastic, definitely, because I think the thing about, I love meeples. I think they're very cute. I just think that the evocative nature of a figurine always wins for me. But I do understand that they are much.
What's this poor cat?
Yeah, I do understand that they're much more expensive to produce, because to make the die for the mini costs thousands of dollars. So I understand they're much more difficult and expensive to make than meeples. So I understand when games just use like cubes and meeples and stuff like that, but I always love a good mini.
There's also the environmental impact, of course.
Of plastic? Well, yeah, definitely, for sure. I think we also have to think about, sustainability and reusability in board games. My friend Ian actually is doing his entire thesis on it. So like, one of his proposals is like, why don't you just sell a kit, a box that has got all components in it, and then games are just rule books. So you buy the kit, it's got 100, 200 components, and then if you buy a game, then it's just a rule book and says, use 20 cubes of each color.
Wait, does Ian play board games? Because there's so many obvious reasons why that's a terrible idea.
Well, why? Why is it a terrible idea? And yes, Ian does play board games.
Okay, because having custom cards, gives you more affordances to, generate more board games.
No, for sure. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to print cubes every time you make the game, right? Like if the game, yeah, I know you need custom cards. I know you need a custom board. That definitely you need. But why does every game need to come with 80 cubes? Why can't you just leave the cubes out and let your users provide the cubes? And I understand why they do it, but one of the his thesis is about finding new routes forward, right? Aquasulis, at least it's not sorry, Bez, what was that?
I was going to say it kind of comes down to games which don't maybe include pen and paper, because pen and paper is something that most people will have. Mm-hmm. And for the Munchkin players, basically all of them will have, I think it's a E20 the original Munchkin asked for, and it wasn't provided, or it might have been a standard E6, I can't remember. But when you get to game and you bring it out, it's requiring something extra from the consumers. So you are definitely asking them to add on something, and that is ultimately the question. Would you be willing to supply your own cubes? Would you be willing to do this? Or, the same way that in Wordsy, Gil Hova's game, it comes with little pencils, it comes with paper pads, and for that reason, people appreciate that, hey, it's about consumer expectation, isn't it, ultimately?
Yeah, for sure. But if you change and shift consumer expectation to asking for sustainability and asking for reduction, like I just saw Haba was talking about reducing the amount of shrink wrap. They're gonna stop using shrink wrap. They're gonna stop using plastic inserts. They're trying to reduce the amount of plastic that they use in their games. So instead of shrink wrap, they're just going to take the box and maybe use paper instead. I can't remember the details. Someone said, at least you don't throw away the plastic minis. Yeah, but 30 years from now, when you're done with the game, what do you do with it? You recycle it, right? So if
Yeah,
you
it's like at a certain point, yeah, you can say, oh, you don't throw it away, and board games aren't made to be, but the plastic shrink wrap that is made to be thrown away, and
yes,
that's why categorical. I'm not going to have shrink wrap on the cards or on the outside. Well, for the outside of the box,
yeah,
I'm going to have shrink wrap for the ones that are destined for retail. Because if it goes to retail, then the retailers want to have something to show that
yeah,
okay, it's still a pristine game. And yeah, I feel like but for Kickstarter backers, you can just send it out and be like, okay, I'm sending it out in a waterproof mailer, in a recyclable envelope. Please don't worry about the fact that it doesn't come in this outer shrink wrap.
yeah, and exactly. So and every little bit helps, and I think that it really is about consumer mindset because I mean I recycle all of the stuff, but shrink wrap isn't recyclable. In my country, it isn't anyway. They don't take it. So every game that comes to me that's shrink wrapped is just plastic that I just take off and throw away. Someone in the comments said Haba has the paper tabs. Yeah, and that was one of the things they said. You know, when you get a game and the cards are always wrapped in plastic, they're not going to do that anymore. They're going to wrap it with paper. So it's just little things like that that will sort of push people towards new norms, right? New ways of thinking that hopefully make this more acceptable. That's one of the dogs right there. His name is Einstein. He's very fluffy. And you can follow him on Instagram as well. It's right there.
Oh, on Samo JD Einstein. What? Why
Samoyed. He's a half Samoyed.
Oh,
A
Samoyed
Samoyed is a breed of dog. Yeah.
Okay. So, moving back
this
to
is a photo of this. Sorry, very quickly. This is a photo of her lying next to me and me hugging her in my sleep.
Aww.
Yes. Okay. We're done. We're done. Sorry, you were saying?
So, stacking games, horizontal or vertical?
I do both. Ideally, I would like them to all be vertical because I think that's just the most efficient with the shelving that I've got. But most important thing to me that I want to do with my games is I want to arrange them by color. So for me, that's the horizontal or vertical is less important.
Oh, wow. I mean, I arrange my games by kind of optimal player counts. And if they're
that's fair.
kind of on the upper side, so yeah.
I want to do mine by color. So everything red in one corner and then just going orange, yellow, all the way down to the other end.
I've seen some people doing that and it does look fantastic. So
it does.
Do bits of rules editing, you do some content creation, you do some by content creation I didn't actually mean writing reviews and stuff. I meant as in writing story.
Yeah, I do that.
And you also do some of the other type of content creation, which is journalism. So which type of writing do you prefer? Editing, writing narrative, or journalism? What's your favorite type of activity of those?
Fiction. Fiction, definitely. Fiction is my favorite thing. I could happily write fiction for the rest of my life. I really like writing fiction. I really like that there's a space in board games now for writing fiction.
Okay, and one of your favorite board games?
Twilight Imperium. Twilight Imperium is, I think, unparalleled in what it does. We talked about Netrunner earlier. Netrunner is my favorite board game, but we already talked about it. So number 2 is Twilight Imperium. And one of the things Twilight Imperium has going for it is that no other board game has come close to doing what Twilight Imperium does, and I'm not sure why. I think people should be hoping to make more Twilight Imperiums, and I think one of the reasons that people or rather publishers, I should say, they say, oh, it's Twilight Imperium, but Euro, or it's Twilight Imperium, but in 2 hours, and you're like, well, first of all, Twilight Imperium is not that long, right? It's my friends and I can play in 50 minutes per player, so about an hour per player. So for 3 players, it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. So that's very reasonable, in my opinion, for such an epic experience. And it just the width and the breadth of the things it allows you to do with such a simple, uncomplicated rule system. It's amazing. Someone in the comments asks, how do you handle following 5,600 people on Twitter? Do you use lists? Do you sort by top or new? How do I handle it? I just accept that I'll have to miss stuff, really. And I have been pruning my Twitter followers. I dumped like 100 people just the other day, so it was 5,800 something, and I dumped it back down to 5,600. I just accept that I'm going to miss stuff, but all of the people that I follow for a reason. Yeah, well, most of them. I may have to do another prune sooner or later. Elaine says, yeah, it's the only game that feels like an actual saga. Yeah, absolutely. I think it really does. And I've yet to find another game that replicates that feeling in such a short amount of time. I'm actually going to be playing Twilight Imperium on Tuesday. We're jumping ahead, aren't we? That's the what are you looking forward to section. Okay, we'll see it.
Okay, so the final question is going to be, do you have a favorite board game shop?
No.
Do you have any local board game shops?
Yeah, we do, but okay. Okay, I said no. I should have said it was the All Aboard Board Game Cafe, but they just shut down because of the pandemic, so they had to close. Artwork or gameplay? The answer is artwork. Alton, actually, like the aesthetics of a game are more important to me than the gameplay. Controversial, yes, but to me, the aesthetics of something determine whether I will like it much more than whether the gameplay is good, because it could be an amazing design, but it will look, if it looks like, bog standard Euro from the mid-90s, I won't love it. Whereas something that looks amazing and evocative and beautiful and makes me happy when I look at it, but the gameplay is kind of middling, that's fine. I'll still love it. I'll still play it. So there you go. You finally got someone who said artwork, because I firmly believe that the aesthetics of a game, to me, are more important than the game itself. Of course, hopefully.
That is your opinion.
Hopefully, in the case of games like Twilight Imperium and Netrunner, you can get both, right? You can get great aesthetics and great gameplay, and that's the dream. But I can never love a game if it doesn't please me aesthetically. Sorry, to go back to your question, you were asking me something about
board game shops in Malaysia.
Yeah, it just closed down, unfortunately.
So you are the first. I've been to Malaysia quite briefly. I've been Johor Bahru's been to Johor Bbbb, as I think it's called.
Yeah, JB.
And I've been to Penang, which is lovely, and I walked around half of Penang, and lovely place with
amazing
Penang,
food.
15-year, it's amazing food. And JB was, oh my god, when I'm there, it's like so cheap by my standards. Earning money in euros, because most of my money comes in euros from France, from Jigamic, for those who don't know. But I am massively privileged by basically where I was born. Now, let's talk about board gaming in Malaysia, if we can, quickly, for a couple of minutes.
Oh yeah, sure. It's because of what you said, right? The fact that the euro is so much stronger than the ringgit. When board games get here, they end up being fairly expensive. The only reason I can have a collection the size that I do, which is like 100 games, not that big, is mostly because of my work with media, right? And the vast majority of these are review copies now at this point. And you therefore you have the board gaming as a hobby is sort of limited to people with higher discretionary incomes. And because they don't get translated to the local language, Malay, they'll mostly be English educated. They'll be English speaking. everyone in this country speaks English, but the proficiency levels are vary depending on where you are. And so board gaming in Malaysia is quite limited to being a very firmly middle class, upper middle class kind of an activity. It's just how it is, unfortunately. And unless we get like local manufacturing or more Chinese companies who are willing to sell here or ship here directly, I don't really see that changing.
Do you have board game cafes over there? Because it would occur to me that's in a place where board games
we do. We have a lot of them.
There's going to be more and more people playing board games, in that medium where they can share those resources.
Yeah, the place that I said that closed down was a board game cafe, and we do have quite a few of them. The most famous one, Meeples, is also a board gaming cafe. You can go there and have a coffee, and they'll teach you Munchkin or Ghost Stories or whatever. And so it's a fairly common model. But the thing is that the people who go to these places, same demographics that I've seen, always the same, like English-speaking, more high-earning people, yuppies, basically.
Yeah, I went to actually a cat cafe in JB, true story. I mean, again, it was very expensive for JB standards, if you know what I mean. But
do you remember how much it was?
I think I might have spent £20. It wasn't very much for like my standards, but I spent £20 on basically a drink and a small item of food.
And it let you be in the cafe for an hour or two, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there was even a time limit. I think there might have been some restriction, but it was more than I was going to spend. It was like maybe 2 hours, something like that.
Okay.
And just get all these cats, and they have so much space, and there's like all the cat towers, and then there's the private space behind the Pyrex, and you can sort of see them, but you can't interact with them in that space. But then they have the super private space if you need some proper alone time. But then the cats can also come in front with everyone. And when they come in front with everyone, you have to like kind of properly clean yourself before you go in. So they make sure that you've got to take off your coats, obviously, and your shoes and everything. And which I think
you sanitize.
Yeah. But
that sounds like a standard cat cafe experience. I don't really like going to cat cafes anymore, actually. This is going to sound really corny, because Kazrak is just better than all of them.
No.
Like, I'll go to a cat cafe and I'll be surrounded by cats who ignore me and who don't want to play with me and who don't want to be picked up and who don't want to be pet. And I'm just like, why am I paying money for this? It's just stay home and be with Kazrak, so I can cuddle her and carry her and she'll sleep on my pillow. Yeah.
I mean, for sure, it's kind of a place for people who maybe like cats but are away from their cats or don't have cats or whatever. Yeah. I mean, we've got occasional cats. There's two that frequent our garden.
I'm also allergic. You're allergic
to cats.
Yes.
So how does that?
But only above a certain threshold. Like I can like hold Kazrak to my face and huff her scent, and I'll be fine. But if I go to a cat cafe, I need to take an antihistamine. I think just because the level of stuff in the air is so much higher.
So we've got Elaine talking about shame about lack of accessibility, and Salty Horse saying even when something gets translated, is Salty Horse from Malaysia as well? When something gets translated, let me know where you're from, Salty Horse. I'm just curious. When something gets translated, from Israel, and when something gets translated locally, are quite often even more expensive. I know that some places have done cheaper versions of games. I know that Yogi has been translated into quite a few languages. I think it's in 20 or 21 now. It's in it's in more languages than I can speak. But one of them, I think it's the Hungarian one, is in a box rather than the tin, just so that they could reduce the price that little bit more. and it's like, yeah, we prefer this, and there's, yeah, thank you, Elaine. Um, it is still really mind-boggling. Fingers crossed, people will still keep buying it. Oh, I personal plug. I do want to say that Nick Smith from Ludaquist put Yogi through the high pressure dishwasher, the industrial dishwasher, and it totally survives. So if you need to sanitize it in between people in the board game cafe, you can totally play Yogi safely in between things. So yay! Dancing for personal plugs, I think, and happiness and joy. Okay, so let's talk, because we've spent so long. We've spent like over an hour, and we've still basically hardly. We've not talked about. Yeah, we've not talked about Crazy Rich Asians, which you had a big part in. We've and are people still allowed guesses about your secret projects,
Oh no,
Colin?
the time is long past. Sorry,
Yeah,
the window is
I
shut.
think we've already kind of gone past there. But hopefully, I was going to say there's two ways that we can do this. Oh, actually, I'm going to offer you three choices, Colvin, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Firstly, we'll sort of breeze through the stuff, and then we'll, say goodbye, and we'll still be, and not. But secondly, how about we kind of quickly touch upon things, and then actually there's just, and then we have you on back in the future, maybe in a month or whenever, when you
Yeah.
are able to talk about the secret projects.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So we're going to quickly run through everything else, but we'll do it in this kind of really strict, time critical manner. So firstly, Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
What? How would you summarize it in 3 words?
Unreal and Michelle Yeoh. Those are my 3 words. Michelle Yeoh. Yep.
And I
If
love
you're
the
not if
way
you're
that,
not if you're not Malaysian, you don't know how much of a hero Michelle Yeoh is to our people. She's a god on earth. She walks among us lowly people. And I got to meet her, and she recognized me, and she said, "Oh, it's Calvin. It's Calvin." Like, can you imagine like growing up with your hero like on screen, doing all the kung fu movies, and you're like, "That's Michelle Yeoh," and it's like she's Malaysian, and at the time after the Crazy Rich Asians came out, it had just been announced that she was going to be a Star Trek captain. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so yeah, it was very, very emotional when I met her. Sorry, next question.
the next question. So you do a little journalism. Does
Mhm.
it have to be investigative? Is investigative journalism better if you do a little bit more work into it?
The issue is always finding a place that will pay for it, because like the main piece I think that I've been noted for is the one about the Singaporean company that was stealing money from people. There was a big like Kickstarter. There was a company that was taking money from people for Kickstarter pledges, but they never actually placed the orders, or they lost the orders. Yeah, and that was the main thing that I did, and it was a lot of work. I was paid appropriately, um, but still, I mean, appropriately for a board game website. I was not hired by a proper journalism website, so he paid me more than my usual feature writing rate to write it. But that's still not a lot of money, you know. So it's just a matter of whether you can get paid to do those things. But also, it's not really what I love doing. I mean, I'll do it, but I don't love
You
it.
love writing fiction. We've already established this.
Mhm.
What if
Thanks,
someone
Ross.
wants
Yeah.
to read something by you?
Mhm.
What is one of your favorite stories or pieces of work that you've written? I'm not going to ask for your favorite, just one of the things that's in your top few.
So if you look right down there, twitter.com/Taylor, that's scrolling along the bottom of the screen there. I love this thing that you're using, by the way, Bez. It's so convenient. It's so lovely. This StreamYard. Yeah. So if you go to that URL, twitter.com/Taylor, right at the top, there's a pinned tweet where I wrote a review in limerick form. If you look at tweets, yes, there you go. That's the first one. So it's a limerick review.
we can read the first bit, but then
Sure.
we'll stop it.
I'll read it out loud. There once was a board game called Fast, with a bold asymmetrical cast. Come little in the roles and their various goals, in this limerick compare and contrast. Yeah, and it goes on. It's one of my favorite reviews I've ever done. The publisher was delighted by it, and people really seem to connect to it. I'm always trying to find new ways to do board game reviews beyond the standard, here's how you play, here's how I feel, here's some photos of the components. And I just want to move beyond that. I think not just for myself, because I think that it's a good creative exercise, but also a lot of the time I don't feel like it really conveys the way it feels to play these games, right? Like part of the reason I wanted to do Vast as a limerick is because it felt like it feels like a limerick, right? It feels like whimsical, but also kind of very constrained in how you have to do it, like a limerick.
And
Musical
if
reviews, yes.
anyone wants to try any sorts of thing, I did have a weekly internet radio show, which is going to go on podcast. I've kind of stopped that because, this video thing has taken over for me. And frankly, I enjoy it more since I started doing it because I'm able to engage with everyone watching at the same time. But I talked with Semu Co-op, and the conclusion there was if anyone wants to try doing reviews in comic form or anything like that, just go for it. And we can see more things, all the things, everyone do the things. And even if you don't do it well, it's paving the way for other people to do it better, or other people to do it badly, because everyone can do it badly, but, it's okay.
I also want to do a musical review, like a rewrite a song, but the lyrics become the review, right? I'm just trying to find the song, the game, and the rewrite. Yeah, but it's a great idea.
And I think that you would absolutely have some people to follow you. And Aqua Solis, I don't know who you are, but if you are going to start doing musical reviews, I would totally have you on the show. And I've never actually, other than Isaac Shalev, who I believe might be from Israel, I'm not sure. I've never...
I actually just got an invite to go on Isaac's podcast on board games. Yes. So that's
awesome.
great.
Oh, Isaac isn't from Israel. I know they're living in the USA, but I mean ethnically. If you're not... Oh, Gilhova's parents are from Israel. Wow, I'm being told all these things. So we said that we'd have you back on, which is lovely, and I'm so excited to have you on. We'll sort out a date. It might be a Saturday, it might be another day of the week, whatever day works for Calvin and everyone else. And there's only a few things left to do. So as we get to the end, let's recap. Calvin is a person...
Netrunner is amazing.
And also Jinteki. It's about that Jinteki.net if you want to play Netrunner online. And if you want to follow Kazrak One Eye, and there's some dog pictures just for the benefit of Alan and Elaine. And we've also talked about that.
I love this art so much. Luxy Turner. Yeah.
And I closed the window for the restoration games, but restoration games are generally good. And Calvin Wong has been in the film, and Calvin Wong is amazing, and there's lots more to talk about. And
oh my god, a TI operetta? Yes, that sounds so good. Yes, that sounds.
Yeah, we should get together. Okay, so what are we looking forward to today? I am going to be a tiny part of Paul Grogan's GridCon, virtual GridCon, because at 2 p.m. I'm going to be demoing Giftable and also Micromuckle. Giftable is super simple. Micromuckle is the simplest out of all the word games possible for DL deck. It's literally less than 10 minutes, and definitely for your second game, it could be like...
That sounds great.
That is something, and yeah, I'm also looking forward to wandering outside my house, because I do make a point of getting outside of the house, even though I'm in the garden.
I'm going to go see my parents for the first time since the lockdown after this. I'm going to go have dinner with my parents. I haven't seen them since this whole thing started.
Oh. And are you going to be playing any games together? I just want to show everyone the wind moving all the leaves.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that view. No, my parents don't really play games, but I'm just seeing them quickly for dinner, and then I have to rush off.
And finally, what's our daily hopes and ambitions?
I hope my parents are fine. I'm joking. They're fine. Like I said, my ambition is I really want to push game reviews forward. I want to write more fiction for games. Game companies, please hire me to write stories. I'm very, very good at writing stories. Hopefully, that the story that I wrote for the company that I cannot name, for the game that I cannot talk about, comes out soon. They promise it'll come out within a few days, hopefully. But I don't know. Fingers crossed. If it comes out, I will shout about it on Twitter, and you will all be able to read one of my favorite things that I've ever written. Yes.
I'm so looking forward to it.
Same.
And if you enjoyed this, then I just want to say again, please do thank you everyone who's been commenting along. It's been lovely having you all. My website is stuffbybez.com, twitter.com/stuffbybez, instagram.com/stuffbybez, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, where there's so many of you today. Thank you so much. Facebook.com/thingsbybez, because Facebook doesn't let you have F and B next to each other, but you can still search for Stuff by Bez, or you can email me if you have any questions, or if you would like to be on the show. And indeed, what was the name of the Aquasulis? Genuinely, if you are doing those musical reviews, do please reach out. My DMs are open on Twitter. I don't need to be following you.
Same. Actually, open to anyone who's reading this. If you make something and you want it to help, and you want me to help it reach a larger audience by retweeting it and talking about it, my Twitter DMs are open. DM me, and I will help boost your thing. This goes for all of you, even the ones who think, oh, I'm already big and established and I don't need the help. No, if you want me to retweet your stuff, boost your stuff, don't be shy. I will do. Is Calvin also here in chat? No, the thing that I'm using doesn't. I couldn't figure out how to type in chat.
No, I can type in chat, but this software doesn't let guests type in chat, but you. Oh, Wilcook says that they would have sent you the video link. Are you on Twitch, Calvin?
Yeah, but I'm not logged in right now. Just send it to my Twitter. Send it to my Twitter.
That's a good idea, because there's the Twitter link.
I'll send it to Bez and she'll send it to my Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I can send it to Calvin. I will copy-paste it to Calvin. I have the technology. I have the C button and also the V button. It's the way to go.
Yeah.
So, that will be awesome to see you. Thank you. Everyone who was watching.
For watching. This was so lovely. Thank you for coming and for sharing your time with us. It's
been amazing. I don't technically have control. I have command because I'm on a Mac. And the next stream is going to be tomorrow. I mean, I'm doing something which everyone is welcome to at Virtual GridCon. You're welcome to go to that. But tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'm going to be speaking to Shaz, who's Shaheen Savarjanod from Settlers Hamilton, which is a board game shop in Scotland, where things are going crazy, not quite as crazy as they are down in England, but still, it's all the pandemic, and we're going to talk about what another shopkeeper is doing to change things around for the pandemic.
Is this the Sarah Shah that does the 60-second videos on Twitter? Or is this a different Sarah Shah? Or did I mishear the name?
Shaheen Savarnajad. Savarnajad is
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I misheard the name. Yeah, my fault.
That's totally fine. But that is tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. UK time. And for now, I believe, do you have any final closing comments, Calvin?
No, it was lovely. I am going to play Twilight Imperium on Tuesday. It's going to be great. It's going to be so great.
Well, for now, all that's left to do is to say bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, it's so hard not to fangirl out when Elaine is in the chat. I love Elaine so much. She's so lovely. This is the goodbye song. Have we lost Fez? I'm just gonna dance. I'm just gonna dance. Go. Take on me, take on me, take me on, take on me. I know the words to this song. Have we lost Bez? I think we have lost Bez. All right, I'm gonna leave the studio because I do have to go for dinner with my parents. But again, everyone, thank you so much. It was so lovely to be here. I cannot emphasize how amazing and fun this was. It's so nice to see you, Elaine. I love you. Um, Ross, love you too. Isa, if you're still here, I love you, buddy. You're really cool. You're really cool. I love you so much. Bye.
Hey, yeah, it's do. I don't know if any. Wow, there's still a few. Hello. Oh, hello again, everyone. Yeah, my computer just totally ran out of power, so there we go. But now, just to do the bye bye song. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. And thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, everybody, and thanks again for watching. Bye bye.